Hi, I'm Jamie. Okay, the claim that I am responding to was presented by Tony. My opponent's claim was that audio-related technology has negative effects on the music industry. He intended to prove this by his three secondary claims. His first claim, His first claim was that audio technology lowers the quality of music. His second claim was that audio technology allows for musicians to become famous while possessing less skill. And his third claim was that audio technology allows for the replacement of musicians with computers and programs. Now, my response to claim number one. Tony states that audio technology lowers the quality of music. He also states that audio technology discourages musicians from being skilled and stops musical innovation. Prior to this statement, he gives the example of Beyoncé singing the national anthem at the inaugural speech, and that it is questioned of whether or not she lip-synced. So if she did lip-sync, does that mean that she is unskilled? Whether or not you enjoy Beyoncé's music or not, she's undoubtedly one of our generation's most talented, skilled, and innovative vocalists. And according to divadevote.com, her range extends 3.1 octaves, whereas the average range is only 2. So his statement saying that it discourages musicians from being unskilled is obviously not correct. Tony's claim is one of complete value and has no evidence to support this claim at all. And this brings me to my response on his second claim. Tony states that audio technology allows musicians to become famous while possessing less skill. Again, this is an opinion, a value-based claim. How is this having a negative effect on the music industry? He gives no evidence. Jobs are not being lost, and people are obviously accepting of this, or else Britney Spears, Gaga, Madonna, they wouldn't all still be around. Tony has no evidence to support this claim, and he also states that lip syncing allows for musicians not to perform. And this statement is way too broad. He doesn't define what performing is. And having grown up in musical theater since I was 6 years old, I know that usually when musicians, or what he means vocalists, lip sync, there's a reason. And usually that reason is because of other aspects of the performance, of dancing, stagecraft, all of that, and that does consist of performing. I don't understand how that has a lower effect on the how audio technology affects that at all. So who is Tony to say what is and what is not a performance? Again, talking about Beyonce, if she lip sync, where is the harm? And she can still out-sing anyone, so what's the problem? And now his third and final claim is that audio technology allows for the replacement of musicians with computers and programs. He supports this with a piece of information or statement that I believe completely diminishes the argument. Tony states that onstage performances are replacing themselves with holograms or other visual aids. My response to that is, who cares? I feel safe to say that most people like to watch an entertaining show, like the halftime show at the Super Bowl. So wouldn't visual aids and holograms make that show more interesting, right? Okay. And where's the harm that a kid can create a song, sing with it, and put it on YouTube? He enjoys himself, and so how is that hurting the music industry? It actually allows for more artistic expression. The only support that Tony actually provides for his claims are a couple quotes that give opinions on music. His quote from Dave Grohl said, "When I listen to music these days and hear the Pro Tools and drums that sound like a machine, it kind of sucks the life out of music." Again, this quote has absolutely nothing to do with the negative effects on the industry, because people are obviously accepting of this music, or else dubstep and all of this mixed music wouldn't be around. Tony's quotes are opinions, or this is a quote that Tony provides as an opinion, just like his. So, that's all.
All right. Well, you labeled the main and secondary claims pretty clearly. You go straight after the point by arguing that this is really a different kind of claim. I don't think you want to make the argument that it's just opinion. The question is what kind of opinion it is. Remember, all arguments are opinions. The question is what kind of an opinion is it? Is it a factual issue that's in dispute here? And your argument really is it's a value dispute that's taking place here. That one person values one sound or one skill more than some other sound or other skill, and that's the problem. I think you do a good job, for instance, on the second point of the argument by pointing out that, in fact, there is value in a competing skill that is that the audience is receptive to and that seems to have validity to it, at least in the context of that kind of argument. So now how are we supposed to measure those things? That would be one of the things that we talk about when we haven't really talked about value argument yet. We're going to be talking about that a little bit more. But I think you're on the right track here talking about what the standard is that's going to be used. You do directly attack his example on the first point by talking about Beyonce and the lip syncing controversy that's going on there. And you've got good evidence that shows that, in fact, Beyonce appears to have some of the skills that are necessary to be an effective singer. What you also want to do is point out that the advocate provided no additional examples here. In other words, we would have to make an inference as to what the advocate is talking about here. The only example they've got is Beyonce, and everybody knows that Beyonce can sing. Here's proof that she can sing. So now what is he left with to support his proposition? Nothing. And that's the way I think you want to phrase that claim. We already talked about the second claim. That's one where you're basically talking about stagecraft as a competing value, and I thought that you developed that pretty well. I do think you ask reasonable questions about whether or not any jobs are affected or whether or not the public accepts these kinds of things. Those are okay. And the same thing on the third point, the criteria comes down to who cares? Why does this matter? If the audience is entertained and they're willing to pay for it, how does it have any negative impact on somebody else, except that I guess there might be an inference here that somebody might prefer one over the other. So Dave Grohl, a bitter old rock guy, bitches about people who are listening to music other than his music. I wonder if there's any reason why he might feel that way because he's been replaced in terms of popularity. I don't know. I'm just making an exaggerated statement on that. I don't think he's that old. All right. But I think you've got a good, and like you said, it's really a value claim that's being presented there. All right. Thank you.